Hi everybody, Tex-Mex here. Thanks for joining me for another video. Today we're doing an update on my Taurus 605 that I sent in for warranty work. For those of you that have been watching my channel, you know I tested this revolver along some 38 special ones a while back. When I did so, I wanted to take some slow motion footage of the 38 specials and this 357, showing the differences in recoil. And when I did that, I would only load 2 rounds into the cylinder. I would rotate the cylinder so the first round was up next, and then I would just pull it in double action. And while doing that, the cylinder was failing to rotate into position. I don't know if it was the cylinder stop or the little hand that moves the gear here to rotate the cylinder into position, but it didn't work and it failed a couple of times. It wouldn't fail every time, but enough for it to be concerning. And just to show you what the issue was, here I'll post right now a quick clip of that slow motion showing the cylinder failing to rotate when I was firing the pistol. So based off that, I sent it into Taurus, and just to be clear, if I filled the cylinder to capacity, if I put all 5 rounds in, it wasn't an issue. I honestly don't remember if I attempted to see if it was an issue if I manually cocked the hammer. I don't think it was. I think it was if I was just pulling it in double action and the cylinder wasn't fully loaded, and that caused some sort of a balancing problem, keeping it from rotating into position. So I gave it to Taurus once. They sent it back, claiming they did some work to it, if I remember correctly, and I'm not quite remembering. So what I should do is right now I'll post the clip showing what they did last time. And on their warranty repair, what it basically said was that my firearm had been repaired under the lifetime repair policy, so that was very nice. They thanked me for being a Taurus owner, so that's very kind of them as well. And what it said they did was well, the area of concern was the cylinder head space and that it was adjusted. And that then they fired 10 rounds of Federal 357 Magnum 158 grain jacketed soft point. So that's what they did last time. And this time, when I sent it off, I actually was able to send them a link to my last video so that they could completely understand what I was talking about. I gave them a pretty good description the first time, but they wanted a really full description of what my issue was. So I wrote it out and sent them a link to the video. And this time when they sent it back, let's see here. So this is the warranty repair information. Your firearm has been repaired under our lifetime repair policy. Thank you for being a Taurus owner. Sincerely, customer service. Resolution, area of concern, cylinder, replaced existing. So I assume that means they replaced the existing cylinder. And the hand, they replaced the existing as well. So I guess the hand that moves the little gear on the face of the cylinder into rotation, they replaced that as well. And they fired 5 rounds of Winchester 357 mag 158 grain jacketed soft point, and it apparently worked after they did that. So I'm going to test it again, see if the issue has been resolved or if it's still happening. What I'm going to do is I'm going to first try 158 grain 38 special lead round nose. I'm going to do the exact same thing I did last time, where I'm going to load just 2 into the cylinder, see if that causes a problem with rotation using double action. And if that works fine, then I will try it with 158 grain 357 Magnum. These are the heaviest loads I have. If I had a heavier grained bullet, I'd use it, but if it works with this one, I'll be satisfied, since this would be typically the heaviest type of ammunition that I would be using in this particular revolver. So let me set it up and see if Taurus got it right this time. So we're going to start with the 38 special 158 grain lead round nose. I've got 2 rounds. I'm going to place them here into the cylinder side by side, and since the cylinder rotates counterclockwise when you pull the trigger, I will set them to where that first round will go off when I pull the trigger. So there we go, cylinder is locked, and let's see how this functions. Oh, functioned well. Let's try it one more time. So this is the second time around. I originally used these 2 cylinder holes right here, so I'm going to place them into these 2 this time. Just checking different parts of the cylinder. Once again, I'm going to close it where it's the next round up. This time I'm going to do it one-handed. Shouldn't really matter, but let's see if that causes any issues. Nope, fired perfectly fine. So very happy about this. Let me take out these two casings, and we're going to try it with a 357. And now we're going to try the Federal 357 158 grain jacketed soft point. We're going to put 2 rounds into the cylinder. Close the cylinder to where that first round will be up next. I'm going to use 2 hands because this is 357 and it's going to kick a little bit more. Let's see how it does. Oh, not good. Did you see that? Did it again. With 2 rounds. That time it worked. And that time it worked. But if you notice, those first 2 times I pulled the trigger, it did not rotate the cylinder into place. Let me try that again with 2 more rounds of 357. So once again, 2 rounds of 357. Just gonna put it in here. Close the cylinder. As you can see, it is locked. It's locked in there. Now obviously, this is only issue, or it's only a issue if you only have 2 rounds in here. I've tried this fully loaded, it works perfectly. Even the empty cylinders, I guess, or excuse me, the empty casings in the cylinder, I guess, tend to balance it enough to where the hand and the cylinder stop, don't cause a problem. But once again, 357, let's see how this works. Okay, worked a little bit better there. I'm gonna try one more time to see if I can replicate that problem. If not, we'll call it quits. So hopefully our last test with the 357 Magnum, putting 2 rounds in. Closing the cylinder up. It is locked in there, just making certain. Let's shoot them off in double action. There you go. Now, what I did there for a second was I may have not pulled the trigger smoothly enough. Maybe I paused too long, so let's try that again. Yeah, see, now it's catching. But it did happen one more time. Well, and that's unfortunate because I certainly do not plan sending this into Taurus for a 3rd time. It seems to function mostly. The problem is, would I trust my life to a self-defense firearm that mostly works? No. You may disagree with me and say, well, you're never going to just have 2 rounds in there. And you're probably right, but you never know. And if it's some sort of a firearm that you want to be able to work in any condition, even if you just have 1 round in there, I expect it to go bang every time I pull the trigger. So there's just something about the Taurus. Maybe it's the way I'm pulling the trigger, but that's the way I pull the trigger. So I'm going to have to find a firearm that works for me. I can't force the firearm to work for me. So I don't believe this is an issue of you're cocking it in single action. It's just if you try to pull it in double action and your cylinder isn't quite balanced with 5 rounds in there. So it's a disappointing video. I really thought, I got excited with the 38 Special. It seemed to work fine with them. And the issue is if you start pulling in here, we'll check it, you see it's empty. If you start pulling the trigger a little bit, just enough for the cylinder stop to get out of there, you see the cylinder spins a little freely. And that's true for most revolvers, so that's not necessarily an issue with Taurus. But the problem with this one is, and it may just be this model, that if you only have 2 rounds in there, they may weigh it down so much that as you're pulling it, it doesn't rotate into the next position. And that hand, I can feel the hand has a little more grip on it now. So if I hold the cylinder a little bit with very little pressure, it's not rotating. Now that time it is. So it just kind of seems to be hit or miss. So this will probably become just a snake gun. I'll fill it up with CCI snake shot, things of that sort, for walking around the property. Like I said, I'm a little disappointed. I like Tauruses. There are other Taurus firearms I have that worked 100%. It's just this particular model 605. If those 2 rounds are in there and it's not balanced and you pull it in double action, it just doesn't seem to work. So anyway, like I said, disappointing video. I was really hoping to come out here with good news, but unfortunately it just seems that for this particular pistol, and I'll say with my 38 Special Taurus revolvers, I haven't had this problem. It's just really strictly this one revolver. I don't know if it's because it's all stainless steel. I'm not sure if it's just in the way it's produced, that maybe the hand doesn't make as much contact with the gear in there as it should. I did notice when I got it back that the cylinder stop did seem to protrude more, but I don't know about the hand down here to see if it's grabbing this little gear well enough to turn it while it's trying to rotate into position to fire the next round in double action. So take it for what it's worth. Like I've said in my other videos, I'm not trying to trash Taurus. They make some decent firearms. But when I have a firearm and I'm posting it on my video and it has an issue with it, I'm going to share it with my subscribers. I'm going to share it with my viewers. This is a problem I'm having. If you have this particular firearm, I'm not telling you not to trust it, but what I am telling you is maybe you should go out there, put some rounds through it, try some different scenarios, and make sure that it functions well before you trust your life to it. And with that, I hope you all are doing well, staying safe, and I will see you in the next video.